It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. What's poppin'? Welcome to the next episode of Let It Flow. I just want to say a special shout out to Atlanta Comedy Theater for sponsoring our first podcast tour date. But we got a special guest today, Tampa Mystic.
In the building. What's going on, D-Phlo? How you doing?
Great. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me here.
For sure.
It's an honor to be on your podcast. I've been seeing what you guys are doing out here, spreading positive messages. That's really where my vision aligns. So thank you for having me here today.
For sure. I mean, you know, we're both from Tampa. Are you originally from Tampa?
Born and raised, yes. Yeah, so it's like, I think it was like destined for us to come together and do this.
For sure. Absolutely. So I'm from Clearwater. So I'm the other side of the bridge.
I graduated from Clearwater High School, so I'll give you a
really?
quick little backstory. So I was in Tampa. My parents lived over near MacDill Air Force Base. Weren't military, it just happened to where they lived at. So I lived my first few years of my life there. Then we moved to Safety Harbor. Then we moved to Largo. Then we moved to Clearwater, and I graduated Clearwater High School. And then I was probably about 18 right after graduation. I moved back to Tampa, and I spent the rest of my years there. So originally from Tampa, but I moved around a little bit.
For sure. Yeah, I graduated from, I didn't graduate. but I tried to graduate from Pinellas Park High.
Listen, let me say something about that. I tell people, because I'm a college dropout, you know, and there's been so many times I've talked about, should I go back? Should I go back? Should I go back? Listen, we've made a way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying drop out of school. I'm not saying that, but I feel like if for whatever reason it doesn't align with where you're going, that's okay. You can figure out a way.
For sure. I actually got my GED from Clearwater High.
Did you really? Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
So you see, you still got your GED. You was good.
Yeah, they expelled me like my senior year.
What you was doing?
I got tased by the police
Man,
in the school.
what?
Yeah. I mean,
PP High School?
Pinellas Park High
PP High School.
got tased in the middle of the cafeteria by the cops.
Wow.
It was really straight police brutality. Like, they brought me into the office and, like, you know, basically they took me down on the ground for really no reason. You know, I was arguing with somebody. You know what I mean? So they took me down, and I had just got out probation, so I really wasn't trying to mess with the cops. So when they walked up to me, they were like, put your hands behind your back. And I was like, hey, hold up, man. Why you trying to arrest me? Like, I didn't
like,
fight
what did
them.
I
We were just
do?
verbally arguing, you know what I'm saying? And then they just took me down to the ground. So we brought me in the office. They're like, we're going to charge you with a felony, like resisting arrest with violence. So I tried to run. I said, oh, yeah. And I tried to run. I'm
Not
cuffed.
today.
Yeah, and they tased me. But they really, like, beat, like, when I got my mugshot, I had blood all over my face. Like, they beat the shit out of me. I actually had a case on them. Like, I really could have sued them.
That is insane. How old were you?
I was 17.
And you were a minor.
No, I was 18.
Oh, but
Yeah.
still, like, you were in school.
Yeah.
Like, all that was not necessary.
Right.
That's
So that, I
crazy.
mean, growing up I was from High Point. You know where High Point
Yeah,
is?
absolutely. I had an aunt and uncle lived in High Point. Like, I'm surprised we didn't cross paths I know I'm your elder, but I'm surprised we didn't cross paths like earlier. You mentioned your brother. I know your brother.
Yeah,
That's hard, man. That's
Yeah.
dope.
for sure. So, so what got you into like music, like originally?
So I've always, of course, like a lot of people, been a lover of music. Like going back to even like when I was a baby, my dad has pictures of me sitting on the couch with the big headphones on. Always loved music. And then I had a friend of mine in Tampa. He was a DJ. And he invited me to come out to start like hosting on one of his nights because he was truly like a vinyl DJ, wanted to spin, but didn't really want to MC the night, host the night. And I had never done that before. In the line of work that I was in, I was doing like outside sales and marketing. So I was used to being in front of big crowds of people because I'd had to do presentations and symposiums and stuff like that. I was like, it can't be that different. So I remember my first night, it was at Whiskey Joe's. You know where Whiskey Joe's is? It was on a Saturday night. So it wasn't a really big venue. So I was like, okay, let me go test it out. It's not going to be a major crowd. I fell in love with it. Like I was in there, I was on the mic, I was hosting, you know, hyping up the crowd that we did have. And it was so much fun.
So you were natural at it.
It became very natural for me. And then so after a couple weeks, I said to him, I'm like, can we start bringing some like talent and artists in to perform? Because I always loved live music. Because, you know, they had live reggae bands and stuff that came in there. So I was going to some of the open mics and stuff throughout the city. And I mentioned to you earlier, like H was doing one of the, you know, biggest open mics in the city. So I was going out there, you know, scouting for talent and inviting them over to us to perform. And it just took off from there. I fell in love with it.
So you started out promoting.
I started out promoting and hosting. Yep.
So starting out promoting, where to go from there?
So again, the same DJ that I'm speaking of, he and I don't talk too much no more. And no bad blood. We just, people grow apart over the years. But he had introduced me to the team at Desert Storm Radio because this particular DJ was from New York. And so, of course, everybody knows DJ Clue, Desert Storm Radio. And then there was also DJ Culture and C's. They were overseeing the radio station. This DJ I was working with in Tampa said, "Hey, man, you're great at using your voice. You're a great personality. You should look at maybe getting into radio." Again, I have no radio background, no experience. And I said, "Okay." And I'm the type of person, I'm like, I'll give anything a try because you never know until you try it.
Right.
And they gave me a Sunday night show, and it ended up becoming like probably one of their most streamed shows on the radio station. Like it just took off, and then I started bringing guests on to interview. Like my first celebrity guest was with Warren G, and
Nice.
it was just super dope. And I loved being able to get on there and truly show my personality and talk. And it was dope because on their website, they had a chat room. So like when I was doing my show, people could tune in and they were chatting and this, that, and the third, requesting music because I was playing a little music in there too. And so I spent 3 years with them. So that was really, really dope. I'm always grateful for the Desert Storm Radio family for that opportunity.
Yeah. I feel like radio was like the birth of podcasts.
Absolutely. Like I was saying, so I have my Industry's Most Wanted podcast, but initially it was Industry's Most Wanted Radio. So if people go back and do the research, it started as Industry's Most Wanted Radio and then transitioned into podcast once podcasting became very popular. Because I'm like, okay, get on board or get left behind with the times, right?
Right. Well, it seemed like you were ahead of the times with podcasts.
Exactly. And I kind of feel that way because I'm like, gosh, I was doing this before a lot of people jumped on board and doing it, but I don't ever like try to, put that out there like that. I just love the journey of it. It's been exciting. I met some amazing people. Now you and I have come together and we're doing this, and I feel like this is what it's all about.
For sure. Absolutely. I feel like podcasts are like one of the ways that people get a lot of information nowadays. But before, the only way we get information back in the day was the news.
Yes.
When internet came out, then it became the internet. I feel like internet evolved into podcasts. Like the long form podcast is the number one way.
I know. Hey, we in Georgia. They everywhere out here.
But yeah, so I'm glad that I got into podcasting as well, for sure. So, and you got the opportunity to learn, because I feel like people are starting podcasts now, but they don't really know how to do it. It's like they got to learn. You've already learned everything you know.
Listen, I started out where it was strictly just audio, where people could only tune in and hear my voice
Right.
on the internet. That's where it all started, because back then people weren't doing the cameras and stuff like that. Maybe they were, but not that I knew about. So I started out strictly as just an audio podcast. Then I eventually upgraded to where I was literally recording them on my cell phone. Like people would come through and I'd have my cell phone, my iPhone set up, and I was recording them and I was capturing the audio and just lining it up. But then I was like, you know what? I got to step my game up. So then I went out and invested. First I had one camera, then I invested in my second camera. So it's like it's all a starting point. Don't think you got to start out having all the top-notch equipment out the gate. You just work your way up to it.
Now, that's so important. There's a lot of people in the world who just never start. They're like, oh, I got to get this, that, and the other. They got this impossible list of things to buy that they probably never will buy. So it's like, but once you get started, you just start with what you got. Even if you do a podcast, you can use 2 cell phones right now in 2025 because the cell phones are so good, like almost as good as these cameras, honestly.
That is facts. Like, if you looked at some of the podcasts I did on my cell phone, I don't think you would be able to ever know that they were recorded on a cell phone. Because like you said, these iPhones or even some of these Androids have beautiful cameras on them.
For sure. And if you have the correct lighting, it's great. Now, the lighting's big with the cell phone. If you're trying to do it in the dark, then it's going to be bad quality.
The lighting is absolutely key. You got to have like the softbox lights, things like that make all the difference in the world.
For sure. So I know you work with a lot of artists over the years. Like, what advice do you have to the up and coming artists right now in 2025? They got some talent, they got some good music. Like, they maybe could learn more about the music, but they really need to learn about how to push it. What's the next moves? Like, what advice you have to them?
I feel like one of the most important things is just come out being yourself. I see too many people trying to sound like other artists, trying to look like other artists. And I understand you're influenced or maybe motivated by those people, but I feel like in order to grow your most organic fan base, you have to be organically yourself. Obviously, this music business isn't free, so you got to try to figure out some sort of budget. I know people hate that word. People hate the word budget, but the reality is like nothing's free out here unless you build relationships. I talk about that all the time. Get out and move around, go network, hit up some of these events. whether you want to be there or not. There's been so many events that I've been to that I didn't really necessarily feel like even going anywhere, but those would be the nights that I met the best people.
Right? No, it's facts.
So, getting out there, networking, I say it all the time, relationships will put you in places that money cannot. There are some rooms you can't buy your way into, so you have to get out and build these relationships. Go build with the DJs. If you know a DJ spins every Monday night at Magic City and you want your record played by that DJ, pull up on them a couple times, buy them a drink, smoke one with them, tip them $20, $30, you know what I'm saying? And don't show up at the prime time of the night expecting to get your song played. You got to show up at the beginning of the night when the building is still empty, you know what I'm saying? Because they're taking a major risk. So I would say just, networking, meeting people, and really, really keeping yourself authentic and being true to yourself. And then another thing is too, because, I have an internet-based station, so I get a lot of artists that submit music. Quality matters too. Find yourself a really good audio engineer to get your sound quality right, because when you try to send music out and the mix is very rough, people don't take you seriously. I don't. I won't play a song because then it reflects back on my brand. If I'm putting a song in rotation on my station and the quality is terrible, it reflects back on me. So find yourself a really, really good audio engineer that could spend that little bit of extra money to get that good mix on that record.
Damn, you just told everything. You just dropped all the jewels right there. Not for sure. I mean, quality is big, and people are recording songs on their phone now. It's cool starting out, but it's like once you want to actually approach like a DJ or a radio station
Yeah.
or anything like that, you're gonna need to have that quality right. It could be the same record. You could just got to re-record it in a different studio.
Absolutely, you can. And I feel like, you could even listen. I learned this from somebody that I know very closely. Pawn shops can be your best friend.
Mm.
You can go to pawn shops and buy audio interfaces, you can buy good microphones. People get in desperate times, so they pawn their stuff and they don't come back to get it. So it's like what you may pay normally $1,000 for, you might get it for $300-$400. So you could have your own little setup at the crib for less than $1,000. Get you a decent laptop, get you Pro Tools or whatever it is you want to record on. Get you a microphone, get you an audio interface. If you don't want to spend money constantly going to a studio, set one up at the crib, put it in the bedroom or something.
100%. That's what I did. I was out there spending a bunch of money,
Right.
and I was just like spending $1,000 a month on recording. But you can spend $1,000 on a studio.
One
That's
time.
one time, and I got lucky because same thing. Someone was desperate. They had a whole studio set up with the Neumann mic, with the preamp, a good, not an Avalon, but like one step down. And he's like, "Shoot, I'll go ahead and give it to you for." I think I spent like a band on the whole setup, and it came with a camera too.
That's insane. So, yeah, so those Facebook Marketplace, pawn shops, places like that. And in pawn shops, too, what I've learned is like if they have it and it sits there for a little minute, they're going to keep coming down on the price. You can do layaway with them if, you don't have the full, you know what I'm saying? There's so many ways. So stop making excuses.
Nah, for sure. And you also talked about being yourself. I think a lot of people are going to be somebody else because that they feel like that's what's going to win. Like they're copying somebody else. They're looking at somebody else's blueprint and they're trying to mimic it, even with the music sound, but also just the way they act, the way they present themselves. When you're being yourself, people know.
Yes.
If you're not being yourself, people know. Like it's an energy. It's like when you're giving out authentic energy, people receive it. And when you're giving out energy that's a little fake, people know right away. Like they don't know what people don't realize you're being fake. They be like, something ain't right. Like what's up with that dude? Like something ain't feeling right because we're not able to read energy. We can feel it. It's not like it's typed in our brain a certain message, but we know there's something off. So when you approach somebody being your authentic self, they can feel that energy, and then they'll reciprocate if they're an authentic person with authentic energy back.
Man, that is absolute facts. And like you said, people will pick up on that. And it's the same thing, when people put music out. And listen, I commend anybody who has the courage to record a song and put it out there because I feel like even taking that first step can be difficult, it can be intimidating. But just do it on your terms. Don't do it because you feel like you have to sound like someone else or you have to look like someone else. Do what feels right for you because I feel like you'll enjoy the process the most when you keep it 100% authentic to yourself.
Yeah, you'll enjoy it more for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's not fun to like keep having to do something like you gotta think about what you're about to do. You gotta like question like, is this good? Like, if you're being you, you're doing the right thing because you're
Right.
doing you. So it definitely makes it more enjoyable, but also I feel like more successful.
100%. I couldn't agree more. It makes you more successful because, again, people pick up on that and social media will tear you apart.
Hmm.
They will pick you apart. I feel like with social media, one thing I really learned about social media and life is no matter what you're doing, if it's good, bad, or somewhere in between, someone's got something to say about it.
Hmm.
And they will pick you apart. So I feel like just being yourself authentically, at least it eliminates you having the pressure of trying to be someone else and having people come for you on social media.
And you're not even being you. It's like that's crazy to deal with
Yeah.
that type of energy.
Who wants to deal with that?
Exactly. And that's a big thing too, I feel like for artists and just anybody who's trying to find success, influencer, creator. You can't read the comments. Like if you're gonna read them, you can read them if you want, but don't let them like break you down because it's a bunch of people who wish they were doing what you were doing. There's a whole ocean of them out there.
Yes.
And they're going to put that energy out there. Like, I feel like hate is basically people projecting how they feel about themselves. So they're going to hate that they didn't go hard enough. Like, they're like, oh, I could have kept rapping, but I quit. So, but this person's winning. So they're going to put like how they feel about themselves about giving up in the comments about someone successful.
As the old saying goes, misery loves company.
Yeah.
And it's facts because I say all the time, it's the people with the least amount of emotion who have the most to say.
Yeah.
They're miserable with their own life. They're unhappy with their situation. And rather than finding a solution and figuring out how to change it, they take it out on other people who they see doing good that they slick become envious of. And that
Exactly.
envy can be dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's a lot of people get killed over that.
They do. Listen, having hate for someone is one thing, but I think envy is worse.
Envy's like a personal hate.
It's like that personal rage.
Yeah.
Like instead of okay, for example, I just interviewed a professional boxer recently, and he said that one of the things he learned early on in his boxing career was, he said, I never go into something saying, dang, why is he doing that and not me? Like instead of why him, not me, he'll say, I can't wait for it to be my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like carrying that type of attitude can change everything, because that's where a lot of people, they're like, why is he seeing all the success? Why is his podcast blowing up and mine isn't? Well, no, rather than having that attitude, say, man, he's so dope. I'm inspired by him. I can't wait to be there where he's at.
100%.
Change everything.
That's the only way that you should live. Like, and that's how I live.
Yeah.
If somebody's doing something better than me, I'm gonna look at what they're doing, and be like, what are they doing that I'm not doing? But I'm still gonna be my authentic self. So I'm not gonna mimic what they're doing.
Right.
But I'm gonna take note of it and be like, well, that worked for them. I could do like this though, my way. But instead of being jealous and being like, oh man, look at that man, over there doing all that shit, like what they doing, how they doing that, I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm gonna learn from you. I'm gonna be inspired by, and if I meet the person, I'll talk to him. And I'm the type of person where I'm always gonna tell people everything I know.
Yes.
I don't hold back. Like if we're gonna talk and you're doing a podcast and I feel like I could tell you something that could help you, I'm gonna tell you. And some people don't like me because of that. Like even if it's a song. Because I'm an artist too. So if I'll be like, hey man, I ain't gonna lie, it's cool, bro, but you gotta turn them ad libs up. You gotta do that. I'll tell it. And if you don't like it, but I'm gonna give you that. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like why gatekeep?
Stop gatekeeping. Absolutely. I'm the same way. Because I'm the type of person, I ask a lot of questions. If I see you doing something that I feel like may be beneficial to my situation, like you said, I'm not going to copy you, but I'm going to make it my own. And I don't mind asking, man, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that you're using? Because maybe it'll benefit me. Because like we were talking about like OBS, for example. Yeah. I learned that from someone else who also podcasts, because I was doing it a different way and I seen how he was doing it. So I was like, what program is that? I didn't mind asking and he didn't mind sharing. So now that's become my formula. So now I pass it on to other people.
Yeah.
So you're right. Stop gatekeeping.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like people be jealous of people surpassing them. I look at life like a ladder. If I help you, like we're climbing a mountain, if I help you up to the next level, and then that means that you could pull me up to the next level. So we can it's like a continuous cycle of pulling each other up. But if I'm looking down at you going like this, once you go around and find another way up, and now if I'm like, hey, bro, they're going to be like, hell no. I remember when you were looking down at me, now I'm looking down at you.
Nah, facts. No, that is facts. Absolutely. And that's, sadly, that's the way a lot of people are in life, and it's like, I feel like, as they say, teamwork makes a dream work. Money comes in numbers, meaning that we can get to our ultimate goal and get there a little quicker when we uplift and help each other get there. I remember there was a time where I would do a lot of stuff myself, and my business partner, OG Bigga Rankin, said, you got to let people help you sometimes. Put your pride to the side, and not even like monetary, just like help me do whatever it may be. And like now I hire someone to come in and help me with some of my behind the scenes stuff. He films my mic drop performances because there was a time I was like, I could do it all.
Mm-hmm.
Because like, no, you got to let people come in and help you. It's okay. And I feel like now that it kind of took a weight off me in certain situations where I can focus on other things and I'm more productive because I've got someone there that can help me with stuff.
For sure, 100%. That was good advice from him.
Yeah. Shout out to OG, man. He be dropping them jewels. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he needs to be on your other podcast.
Yeah.
One thing about Bigga, he's like a pastor. He's like a minister. He drops them gems and not even intentionally. Sometimes he just be talking and it be coming out. I'm like, one thing he told me early on, I remember, this was probably back in 2011. 2 Chainz Titty Boy was on tour in Florida, so we were doing a few of his stops, and one of the stops was in Tampa at the Kennedy. You probably remember the Kennedy.
Yeah, I performed there a couple times.
And after the show, we did his meet and greet first, and then we did the performance. After the show, we all had went to IHOP, and Bigga pulled me outside, and he was like, if you get into this business for the money, you're going to be disappointed because the money's not always there. But if you get into it for the love of it, the money will come. And I'm so glad that he instilled that into me early on because it's always stuck with me that it's not, yeah, of course we got to eat and pay the bills, but it's not always about the money. Like I'm sure you have and I have. I've done a lot of free work and I still do because I feel like it's about building them solid relationships.
100%.
That was one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me. And I kept that in my head. And I feel like that's what helped me level up to get to where I'm at.
I agree 100%. It's not about the money. And you'll see a lot of rich people, like, they don't even, like, pay each other for stuff. They're like, hey, I need you to do me a favor.
Yes.
And the only reason why they can get a favor from another rich person is because they gave them a favor. Like, they did that for each other. They helped each other. So I agree. So how did you meet Bigga Rankin?
So I met Bigga going back to when I was still in Tampa. Shout out to Kingpin. I'm always going to forever call him Kingpin. A lot of people know him as Rap Juggernaut. I was doing my artist showcases, very new in it. And of course, I was putting my flyers out there and stuff. And me and Kingpin, Rap Juggernaut, this is before Instagram we were following each other on Twitter. And he came out to my showcase and he brought an artist to perform. Kingpin did, Rap Juggernaut. And he was the one that formally introduced me to Bigga because Bigga was in Jacksonville at the time.
Right.
And man, we just hit it off. We hit it off because they were like, man, your grind is impeccable. Like, you aren't even really out there like that, but you act like you've been doing this for like 20 years, you know, because I understood the hustle. I was a single mom. So it's like I understood I had to get out there and work. You know, I got to feed my son. I got to take care of him. And we connected then. And then back then is when Bigga was still doing the Diamond Awards. So I got heavily involved with the planning of that each year, you know, helping them do the Diamond Awards. And then Kingpin and Bigga both moved up here. And they were like, you need to pack your bags and move to Atlanta. Well, my son was still in high school at the time, and I did not want to uproot my son in his last years of high school playing sports. So I told him, I made him a promise. I said, as soon as my son graduates, because he was leaving for the military, I said, I'm going to move up there. So I did. My son graduated like June of 2013. By October, I was here.
Wow.
And it's been such a beautiful thing. I feel like I probably would have moved up here, but I don't know if I would have did it as quickly as I had if it wasn't for Bigga and Kingpin. I owe a lot of stuff to them because they were the ones that helped put me in a position.
How much do you feel like he impacted what you do?
Probably 100%. Honestly, because Bigga and I will get on the phone some days and I'll cry. You know, like I get emotional because, you know, we go through stuff. But I feel like Bigga's that like one person on earth that's like I consider a safe space. I feel like I can talk to him about anything, whether it's personal or business, and I don't have to ever worry about it coming back to me. He don't go and run, tell that, and share it with nobody. And I feel like having an outlet to talk to somebody on the personal side absolutely helps you on the business side.
Right.
Because if your mental's not right, it's hard to get out there and go to work every day and focus on what you're doing, especially with what we do. We have to listen to other people's stories, right?
Yeah.
If my mental's not right, then I'm not even going to be focusing on my guests. I'm going to be worried about what's going on in my own head.
Right.
You know, so, you know, again, Bigga's like one of my best friends, man. And we have a spot called Creative Media Zone together. And I don't know anybody else in this world that I'd want to do that with. Like, I trust him, you know, and that's the thing, too. When you go in business with somebody, you got to be able to trust that person. That they're going to uphold their side and take care of it as much as you. And, you know, Bigga's been doing this for over 30 years. So I felt like he's the one person that I know I could go in business with and I trust. And it's been a beautiful situation.
For sure. I remember when I was in Florida, like, he was pretty much running a lot of the circuits.
Yeah.
Like, if you wanted to get a record to break, it probably would be the best interest to go to him and bring your budget.
Absolutely, and he still does. Of course, Bigga has his platform now, Trapping from the Basement. He's had, gosh, we just recently, he had BG there performing. He had Starlito and Don Tripp there. He'd be bringing some of the old school guys through, and of course, but Bigga's really known for breaking these independent artists. Like, and I'm not just saying this because he's my business partner. I feel like if you're an independent artist, Bigga's one of those people that you have to at some point in time touch within your career, whether
Right.
you get an intro for him, perform on his platform, because Bigga's so well respected in this business. And often tell him, I said, Bigga, he's too kind. He has a good heart.
Mm.
And that can be a bittersweet in this business, because another gem he dropped on me, him and Kingpin used to say this a lot. They would say free is too expensive. Think about sometimes when you do stuff free for people, they don't value it. Like, for example, and I'll never say who it was, but there's a kind of sort of well-known artist coming up in the Atlanta market, and he was booked for my podcast last week. Just blew it off, didn't show up, didn't tell me he was coming. And this was, of course, it wasn't a paid situation. And it's just like, you just wasted a whole hour and a half of my time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that bothers me. So what they say is free is too expensive. So it's like, you have to build those relationships with someone you trust if you're going to like barter or do free work with them. Because sometimes, like, if I hadn't just showed up today, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I would never waste someone's time like that, So that's another thing too. You got to be mindful of, who you do things for, because some people don't value it. A lot of people don't value stuff they don't invest in.
Man, free is too expensive. I've never heard that said, and I agree it is.
Yes.
Sometimes when you do too much free stuff, you be giving somebody thousands of dollars worth of work that they would pay if you didn't do it for free. And then now it ain't worth nothing to them.
They don't value it. Like, I had seen a meme that this guy did, and he's a videographer, and he was saying, like, in the meme, a guy came to him and was like, hey, what do you charge for full production video? And he's like, oh, just $250. And they start laughing. They're like, oh, the last people charged us like $2,000. We were set to pay $3, but $250 is okay. That's how people will treat you, and with what we do. Not so much anymore, but I used to get people asking me, well, why do I got to pay to come interview with you? And I'm like, okay, well, it costs me $2,000 a month to run my studio. Let's make that very clear.
Mm-hmm.
It cost me thousands of dollars of equipment I invested into, not to mention my time.
And all the time you put into making who you are, the value that you bring from your platform and from your ability to interview.
Exactly, 100%. So, like I said, not so much anymore. I don't really get too many people asking that, because I think people are getting a better understanding that you're paying for a service. You're paying for someone's time. You're paying for someone's knowledge. You're paying for all their equipment. Like, all this stuff you have here costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you don't want to, then this is the wrong business for you.
Yeah.
Or you need to build some solid relationships.
Facts. Relationships are worth more than money.
100%. I couldn't agree more. Good relationships are priceless, because, like I said earlier, there's some rooms that you can't buy your way into. But if I'm cool with you, you're going to walk me through that door, and who knows who I might meet. That's like priceless to me.
That's a perfect example. Like, you can't get in that door. It's not about you got to pay $100 to get in. You can't get in unless you're on the list, but they're on the list.
Exactly.
They can walk you in. When you walk in that room, now you might get the biggest opportunity of your life.
Listen, and I always feel like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We have to shoot our shot. Like, back during the pandemic, like we were talking about it earlier, when everything was shut down, I had sent my resume over to one of the FM stations here in Atlanta, and I was like, I had always done internet-based radio. So I was like, what the heck? Let me try. They hit me back the next day and said, we want to set up an interview. Wow. I interviewed with them, and I ended up being on air personality with them for 4 years. And I left that situation December of last year, not because anything bad happened. It's just, I really, for me personally, like the freedom of doing this, talking about what I want, having the guests what I want. And when you're in other people's businesses, especially FM radio, it can become very political. What kind of music you can play, who you can have come through, and it was cool. It was a great platform for me, but I felt like I enjoyed being more independent, if that makes sense. Just like a lot of artists, they don't want to sign because they like that freedom. of being able to do what they want, drop
Your
music
own
when they
boss.
want. Exactly.
Your own boss is
Yes.
powerful.
Yes.
I could see that, and I always told myself, and I mean, maybe I don't know if I'll change my mind, but I don't know if I'd want to get like a deal with the podcast unless I have freedom. If I get a deal and you tell me, oh, but you can't say this, you got to say this, and or they're like, hey, we're gonna have a whole film crew here, and we're gonna pause you if you're saying the wrong thing, I'm like, nah, you ain't doing that with me. It ain't, I don't think I'm signing that deal. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, facts. I'm with you 100% because there's a lot of great opportunities out there, but they may look great from the outside, but you don't know what goes on, like you said, behind
Right.
closed doors. And I just, being an entrepreneur and a business owner for so long now, that I'm like, I don't know if I could work under someone else's thumb, like
Yeah.
telling me, no, you can't say that, or no, you can't do this, or you got to look a certain way. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, if I want to show up looking like a bum today, that's on me. You know what I'm saying? I don't typically portray myself like that,
Yeah.
but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm with you. Staying that independent route when it comes to music or anything we do, like
Mhm.
I feel like being able to wake up every day and create our own day is
Amazing.
it's amazing. Like
Priceless. Mm.
you can like literally say, okay, this is what I'm gonna go do today.
Right.
Or no, I don't want to work today. Like I want to get up and, you know, go shopping today, or I'm going to the gym today, then cause like for me, what works for me is I kind of split my days up. So like I do my in-person interviews in the afternoon at my podcast studio. Then I go home, whether I go work out, catch a meal. Sometimes I catch a nap. I love napping. And then I get back to it in the evening time. I do my virtual interviews from home, from my home podcast studio in the evening time. And I find that rather than working 8 straight hours, I do
Right.
like 2 4-hour shifts. That's what works for me.
And you can do that. Nobody could tell you, nah, it's not gonna work.
Exactly. And some people don't like working early mornings. Some people don't like working nights. I work both and I'm cool with it because that's what works for me. I like having that midday space available. That way, if I do want to get out and run some errands or I do want to go catch a workout, whatever, I can do that.
Right.
And I don't work. I work 7 days a week, but I don't work 8 hours all 7 days a week. And that's the other thing too. Is like I'm the type of person I work really good under pressure.
Mm.
So there'll be some times where I'll wait a little minute and I'm like, okay, I got to get it done today. But then that's where my best work comes from.
Right. No facts. I'm the same way. I work well under pressure.
Yeah. I think a lot of people do, whether they want to admit it or not.
Right. A lot of people can't handle the pressure. And that's the thing. The only way you can work well under pressure is if you can handle it. Like if it hits you with, like a lot of people gets hit with the pressure and like, oh, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. And they won't do what they have to do that day. But if they would have did it, they may have did it better than ever. It's just like you said, they didn't take the shot.
You gotta shoot your shot. And what's the worst that can happen?
Right.
They say no or they don't respond. Okay, cool. Boom. Move on to the next one. Someone had said to me on one of my podcasts a while back, he said, like, what is the one word that you're going to probably hear the most in your entire life? The word no.
Yeah.
No, you can't do this. No, you didn't make the team. No, you don't touch that.
Right.
It's what you do with the yeses that count. I was like, man, that's facts.
Yeah.
Don't ever let no one discourage you because they told you no, that you can't be a part of it. Who cares? Move on to the next one or create your own situation.
Right.
That's what you guys did.
So in 2025, what do you feel like is like an average budget to break a record?
Whew. That's a difficult question to answer. I think only because it really depends on where the artist is wanting to go. I hear people like the greats from QC saying that it takes $250,000 to take it to radio and to break it. And on a high end, I would agree with that. But I would say at a minimum, don't come for me on this, but I would say you got to have at least a couple grand in your pocket. And you can really make that stretch if you spend it the right way with the right people. So the biggest thing is doing your homework first. Don't go out there just blowing money because you're going to get scammed. You ain't going to get a return on your investment. So I don't know an exact dollar amount, but I would say at least to start out with a couple grand, but you're going to have to continuously stay dumping money into it because like we were saying earlier, pretty much everything costs out here. You know what I'm saying? But, it could really range. And I think it kind of depends on where you're wanting to go. Because something that I learned recently, too, I had interviewed a Stellar award-winning audio engineer and producer. And he was saying that, and it may be the same with the Grammys, but he said on the Stellar Award side, you can get nominated and potentially win, but you got to pay for that. If you're not paying for that, you're not going home with it. Everything costs. To get on those charts, it cost a lot of money. So, I don't want to shatter anybody's career saying you only got $200 in your pocket. Don't do this. Save up your money a little bit and maybe wait until you have a couple grand to be able to divvy out, and you don't have to spend money on the most expensive of everything. Like we said earlier, go buy from pawn shops or go buy on Facebook Marketplace, or maybe your homie's selling some equipment. Find a videographer who's only going to charge you a couple $100 for a video. You don't need a $1,500 video out the gate.
Mm.
So I feel like you can get started
And producers too.
with producers too. You know what I'm saying? If you lock in with some up and come producers, you might get you an exclusive for $100 because they're trying to get their name out there too.
Right.
So I would say just start, but you're gonna have to have something, and make it make sense. Do your homework. Watch stuff like this to get informed and find good places to spend your money. Like I even get artists, and you may have experienced this too. Like people will hit me up and like, well, how do I know you're legit? I'm like, well, go do your homework. Like don't just come at someone saying, how do I know you're legit? That's an instant turnoff for me. You know what I'm saying? It almost makes me not want to work with
Yeah,
them.
for sure. It's like a diss.
It is like a diss. Exactly. That makes me feel like, okay, you've probably been screwed before because you didn't do your homework and now you're taking it out on me. Go check my track record. Go check your track record. They can easily look at your page and see all the content. You think that's fake? So, to answer your question, I would say at least have a couple grand stacked away. And I'm not saying that's going to blow you up and put you on the Billboard charts, but it's a good starting point.
Right. Facts. So a couple grand, yeah. I agree with you. There's levels of breaking a record. It's like you could break in a city, you could break it in a market, you could break it in Florida, you could break it in Atlanta, the whole
Correct.
Southeast market, and the whole nation. So I guess it depends on how far you're trying to take it.
100%. Now, if you got 10 grand, 20 grand, 30 grand, 50 grand, that's even better. That's going to take you a lot further. But having that couple grand, don't think it's going to take you across the United States. That's going to be at a very local level.
Yeah.
Or, you can maybe connect with people and do like, virtual interviews from other states, and that might help get you exposure in other areas. So, yeah, just, and if you have a job, don't quit your job.
Yeah, yeah, facts. And that's what I was gonna say too. A lot of people don't realize how important it is to have that other income coming in, whether it's a job. I mean, a lot of people are selling drugs. I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying like you got to have something else going on outside of the music
Yeah.
that's making you money. Even if it's investments, like if you want to get into trading stocks or whatever it is you're doing, because you can't just depend on the music to be the way that you're gonna fund the music.
Correct.
It's not gonna ever work like that. I mean, if you get a major deal, yeah, but like the only way you're gonna get there is to invest in yourself, and it's gonna take some money. So if you don't have it coming in, eventually you're gonna end up quitting. It's not gonna something you're gonna hit a brick wall.
Absolutely. And figure out monthly, like, what is it that I can afford to spend? Like be realistic with yourself and find ways to cut corners. Like if this is truly what you want to do 100% and you're spending a couple hundred a month on weed, well, you might need to give that up you know what I'm saying? If you don't have the extra money and the luxury to do both. Some people do. But if you don't, I feel like people make time in resources for what's important to them. So if that means cutting back on going to the club every weekend, then that's what it means, if you're that serious about it. So it could mean that, okay, I don't have a huge budget, but I could have a little bit better budget because I'm cutting corners in other areas. You don't have to drive a car that's $700 a month. Go get your car that's $200 a month. You know what I'm saying? Humble yourself. Don't go broke, trying to make you look like you got money.
Right, facts. Another thing is with artists, you don't have to. I mean, it's cool if you can. I mean, I get it, but you don't really have to get the section, go all out to get your record played. Like a real artist, like on the grind, is gonna go to the club, and they're gonna get the record played, and they're gonna leave. They're only gonna go talk with the DJ for a short time, get their record played, get them a drink, whatever, however they do it, pay them, whatever the situation is, and then they're gonna go to another club. If you spend all that money to get the section, get the bottles. You look good when they're playing and your whole club, your whole section's lit. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if you just paid the $20 to get in, went to the DJ, had him play your record, not only did you save money, but you actually hit 3 or 4 clubs.
Correct.
So you actually did better, more productive work by spending $100 as opposed to 1,000 or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that goes back to learning how to budget what your budget is.
Yeah.
If you really only start out with a couple grand, figure out ways to cut corners, and that's a great example right there. Don't spend 1,000 in one night turning up in the club and buying all your homies drinks and this, that, and the third for what? Nobody cares really at the end of the day. Yeah, like
Right.
you said, it looks good in the moment, but I feel like if you go and pay that one DJ and you're in there even turning up yourself, you got one of your partners with you, just the fact that you're getting your song played in a Magic CD or a Blue Flame or wherever it may be is a good look in itself.
For sure. And I like what you said too earlier when you said that don't show up to the club when it's the littest moment and be like, hey, bro, you want to play my record, you know? And like, they don't even know you. It's what's different if, like, that's your boy, you've been playing your record for months, like, you got a
Right.
new single, you're like, hey, bro, maybe you just got there. You know, I get it. But if you've been just chilling in their section for like 2 hours and you're like, all right, that's lit enough now, I'm gonna go hit him. The DJ going, that's why that's you think the DJ is a dickhead, but really he's looking at you like you're a dickhead. You feel me? He's like,
Exactly.
bro, you could have got this to me earlier. You've been here. I saw you sitting right there. You waited till like they played me, Dreams and Nightmares. You waited till they played that. And you're like, oh no, I'm next. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, bro. Like you got to go ahead and hit that DJ, build that relationship. Come to him early. Be like, hey, here's my record. He might play it when nobody's there, and you think he's trying you. The artist think he's trying you, but
Right.
he's really like testing you. He's like, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to hear it. How it sounds. Is it good quality? You're gonna give me a record and it sounds like some shit off your phone, and then I'm gonna turn it off after the hook. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that what you want, or you want to hear the whole record? Like you want me to vibe with you? So,
Absolutely, because the DJ is taking a major risk playing a song unheard.
yeah.
They have no idea. It could be like that song I told you about that had the smoke detector chirping in the background. It sounded like they recorded it on out in a windstorm. It was terrible. You know what I'm saying? Like for real. And it's like not to throw shade, but that's just they take that risk. What if they play one of the hottest records out right now and then they play yours behind it? They could lose their crowd.
Yeah.
Now everybody's gonna be talking about that DJ. Man, did you hear that whack record? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like
So-
like all of a sudden everybody's vibing, everybody's just sitting down. Like,
You just blew everybody's high.
Yeah.
Everybody's night is ruined. Now they're going to want to pick up and leave because they're like, man, this
Yeah.
DJ is whack. Why would
and he's risking his job.
He's And what I have found too is there's a DJ here in Atlanta, and I'm sure there's others. He told me there's a couple venues that he's DJ'd at that the venue owner specifically told him, do not play any independent music. Only play what's popping because that's how they keep the crowd in there.
Yeah.
So if a DJ tells you, no, I can't play it, it could be truthful. He's putting his job on the line. You want him to lose his job for playing your 2-3 minute record?
100%. And I've seen that too in Atlanta and in Tampa.
Yeah,
You go to a DJ and they be like, they just told me the top 40.
exactly.
Or you know, that's it, depending on what club you're in. Like, they're not, that's it. Or we're only going to play artists that are major. That's it.
I tell artists that if you want to guarantee to get your record played, pull up to a showcase. And I know a lot of artists don't like doing that, but that's a guarantee that not only is your record going to get played in front of a crowd, but you also get to perform to it too. And now that DJ has your record, if they like it, they might play it again. Yeah, it might cost you a little fee to go pay to perform, but I feel like that's one of those steps you can't skip, man. You got to get on these stages. How do you expect to perform in front of a crowd of 10,000 if you haven't done it in front of a crowd of 100?
Exactly. And it's like also, you gotta get better at performing. Like those are opportunities to get in the stage. You might not be getting that many stages. So yeah, you're paying for it, but it's worth it in the end. And you meet people, you meet artists, you meet producers. People don't realize how many producers you're gonna meet at these types because they're going there to meet artists.
Exactly, 100%. And not only that, if you are an artist who has your business together, a lot of these venues are registered with like ASCAP and BMI. They have to carry that license in order to pay or to play the music.
Right.
So if you're an artist, you log in your BMI, chances are there's a section on there where you can register your performances. You pull up that venue, you may not make a ton of money, but you can get paid for that performance.
Right.
A lot of artists don't understand that, you know? So it's like, yeah, you might pay a little bit up front, but you can get some more on the back end from it and you get exposure. Your record got played. You got a performance out of it. It's practice.
Yeah. And especially in a place like Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta and you're not doing shows and you're an artist, then I don't know what you're doing, bro. You could be performing almost every night out here. And yeah, you might getting paid for every show. You might be paying for some shows.
Right.
But I mean, I was blessed enough to actually never pay for a show, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I had certain people who were able to bring me to, like Zane. Zane would always like bring me to the shows, perform. I'd open up for him, so I never had to pay. But I still see that there's a lot of people who were paying to perform at those shows, And look who they're meeting. They're meeting all these people. They're performing in front of celebrities, or performing in front of sometimes A&Rs, people who you win a lot of these showcases. They might give you some sort of production deal,
Exactly.
distribution deal. I mean,
You never know who could be in the building. And I say that because when I first moved to Atlanta, one of the first things I started doing was showcases out here. And early on in me being here, I had, in my opinion, one of the dopest, legendary Atlanta artists pull up to my showcase just off of love, and it was Andre 3000. The main thing was his team said, "Don't tell anybody that he's coming because we don't want a spectacle," right?
mm,
You can announce that you have a special guest or a celebrity guest
right.
coming, but don't say who it is. And it was so hard to hold that back. So I kept telling my guest, I was like, man, we got somebody legendary coming through tonight. And the only people I told was security. And they're like, man, get out of here. 3 Stacks ain't coming through. I said, I promise you he's coming through. And
Wow.
he did. He came and he stayed for a very long time. He didn't want VIP. He wanted to be down with everybody. He
Wow.
was eating chicken wings.
Where was this?
This was at a spot called GME Lounge off
Wow.
of MLK that I was doing my showcases.
Okay.
And his team hit me and my DJ up before the event saying that he wanted to come out. And I was
Wow.
like,
That's crazy.
it happened literally like that on the fly. It was like a same day situation. And I was almost like, man, is he really going to show up?
Right.
And he did. He did. And it was like, and it was so crazy because once he got there, of course, we were posting on Instagram and stuff. People pulled up that weren't there. I had one dude pulled up and he literally still had his pajamas on. I'll never forget. He's like, man, I was in the bed and I got here so quick because I didn't want to miss the opportunity to. And he's like, how much do I got to pay to perform? I said, bro, I'm not putting you on right now. I said, there were artists that paid already to be here. You know what I'm saying? And back then, I was literally charging like $20 to perform, next to nothing.
Yeah.
But look what it got them. They got to meet somebody legendary, got pictures and videos with them. So like I say that to say this, you never know who's going to be in the building.
Facts. Like especially here in Atlanta. Like you never
Especially here.
know. I remember one time I was out and R. Kelly showed up. I'm like, what the hell? Like, and this is before obviously before he got arrested.
Right.
Like, so I was just like, we're sitting there talking to R. Kelly. I'm like, this is crazy. We're just at a random club. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
don't.
alibi.
Exactly. It's funny because I used to host at Magic City, but I was hosting on Tuesday night. And we would allow artists to come in and perform. But the thing was they had to throw at least $100 on stage to tip the girls, which isn't bad.
Yeah.
Man, you know how many celebrities used to show up? Thug was one of them. You mentioned Thug earlier.
Yeah.
Thug would come in there and he would just be in there chilling, doing his thing. Future came through. B.O.B. came through.
Wow.
There was T.I. A lot of these, they would just pop up. So it's like, you never know who's in. And we did it, even though it was a strip club, we did kind of almost like a showcase setting. You know, we allowed artists to come in and get on the stage at the strip club. But a lot of these celebrities pop up in there.
Not for sure. Like we performed in Magic City one time, and my girl performed too.
Okay.
And QC was in the building, and they actually brought her over there and talked to her. She already had a deal, so it didn't benefit her. But if she didn't have a deal, QC's over there talking to her.
Exactly. And look what QC has done for their artists. Like, I commend them guys over there. They like some of the biggest superstars, out there because they
Right.
really put their art. Of course, the artists work hard too, but I feel like the label had a lot to do with, a lot of these artists' success.
For sure. And they're in Magic City just watching the show. It was a showcase that we were doing. And,
Exactly. And a
they're in
lot
the
of
corner. We didn't know it was there.
right, they come out because that's where they may find their next big artist at.
Yeah.
Again, you never know who might be in the building. A&R scouting for talent. You just never know. So don't ever. Again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, man.
Thanks.
And what's the worst that can happen? You go home and you didn't meet anybody. Okay, cool. Boom, move on to the next one.
Right. There's more opportunities that'll come.
Yeah.
You can't just take one shot and then be like, I guess I'm not shooting no more. It's going to take a lot of shots, and some of them are going to miss.
Right. Absolutely.
Most of them.
Most of them are going to miss, and it's very rare that opportunities present themselves to us. We typically got to go out and create them or find them. If I'm sitting home every single night not doing nothing, how am I going to get opportunities? You have to put yourself out there. Like when I first moved to Atlanta, boy, I was out damn near every night.
Thanks.
Most of the time by myself because I didn't know a lot of people here. I was pulling up to other people's events. I was pulling up to showcases, networking events. Back then, Grand Hustle was doing their Hustle and Phlo showcase. I think on Mondays, once a month, I was going to all of those. That's how I met a lot of people. Then it gets to the point where you got to scale back.
Yeah.
Because then you water yourself
Too
down.
available.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
too available. Exactly. But yeah, man, artists, you got to be outside.
You got to be outside, for sure. So I'm going to get deep with you for a second.
Yeah.
What's the hardest struggle that you went through in your life?
2, and I'm about to get emotional. Losing my sister, first of all, she passed at 41 from cancer. And it was such a difficult time in my life because she was my best friend. She was my biggest supporter. She was there when I got my first award in the music industry. And just watching her deteriorate and go down, that happened back in 2012. And you see, I still have a hard time talking about it. That was so difficult for me. And then, of course, I lost my mom in 2021 to COVID pneumonia. And that was difficult too. And another thing I'll say too, I raised my son as a single mom. I feel like I did a phenomenal job because my son is amazing, but that was hard too because I felt almost like I failed him. Even though it wasn't my fault, I was like, my son had to grow up without a dad in his life, and that sucked for me because my son is so amazing. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like losing my sister, losing my mother, and having to raise my son as a single mom was like the 3 most difficult things, and I still struggle with it to this day.
You can't blame yourself for someone else's actions.
Yeah.
And I don't think he blames you either.
He don't. And it's funny because my son often says to me, I'm glad it was just us. I'm glad it was just you and I. Because he and I had such a beautiful relationship. Like my son graduated high school. He's a military vet. He's a college graduate from Florida State University. He's married. He's amazing. And it's like, I often wonder if his dad was around, would he be as amazing as he would? Because his dad's obviously a deadbeat. You know what I'm saying? So
Well, congratulations for all that success.
thank you. I appreciate it.
For sure. I know dealing with death is tough.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine losing a sibling. That's probably one of the toughest ones.
It was because she was my only. Like, she was like my rock. She was my sis, man. That was my big sis. We were 4 years apart, and she got sick in like February. She just started feeling sick, and she started getting swelling in her arms and in her neck. And my sister was the tough one. Like, she was tough. She used to beat people up for me. I remember we was in a club one night and some dude kept hitting on me. And I was like, bro, I'm not interested. She literally picked an empty beer bottle up off the bar and smashed dude in the head. Wow. He was bleeding. She went to jail.
That was in Tampa?
Yeah, it was in Tampa. That was at, you know where Whiskey Joe's is? It was a road that you had to drive all the way back to the end of the road. I forget the name of the venue. But it was like, soon as you come across the Courtney Campbell Causeway, Courtney Campbell. Mm-hmm. Man, my sister was my ride or die. And when she passed, like, I felt like a part of me died.
Yeah.
Because it happened so quick. She got sick in February. She passed in May. Like, before she was able to even start, like, her chemo treatments and stuff, it took her life. She ultimately had a heart attack because her body was so eat up with cancer that her body couldn't handle it. And just watching her go through those stages to the point where she couldn't even walk at the end, it was very difficult. Because my sister was always so strong. She was like my hero.
Yeah. Was she older than you?
She was 4 years older than me. So she was 41. I was 37 at the time. Man. And I'm grateful for the years that I did have with her. But I'm like, I wish she could be here with me. She is here with me spiritually, but I wish in physical form she could be with me still.
Do you feel like those losses, how do you feel like that impacted your life moving forward?
I feel like, honestly, like I had mentioned to you before, I think off camera, is I always try to pull the positive out in every situation. And I feel like it made me stronger because I feel like I'm not just doing it for me anymore. I'm doing it for my sis. I'm doing it for my mom because my mom was only 71. I feel like she could have still had a lot of good years left in her. And it made me stronger. And I look back at all the good times I had with them and I focus on that and I focus on the things that I learned from them. So I think my biggest thing is it just made me a stronger person. Like, I'm not the same person I used to be. Like, I used to be really bad with setting boundaries for myself and allowing people just to come in. I feel like after my mom died, that changed my attitude. Like, I have boundaries. I won't allow certain things to take place because life is short.
Yeah.
And letting that stress will kill you.
For sure. Yeah, I lost my mom. She was 52. So
wow, she was young too. Wow.
So like when Soldier P, you first started hearing about him coming out, we were coming off of her dying. And, she told me not long before she died, she said, I want to see you be successful in what you believe in. Don't stop. And she was like dying, and I was like, oh, that's what stuck with me. So if someone were to ask me, how did that impact me? I would say the same thing you just said. It made me stronger and it made me direct. Like, it gave me like I wasn't looking at the now anymore. Yeah. She made me have to look down the street.
Yeah.
Not just right in front of me. Because she's like, if you want to succeed in what you believe in, I realized I gotta keep looking forward and keep going. So anytime I ever started feeling like, man, I don't think I can do this, I would think about that moment
Yes.
and be like, damn, I gotta do it for her because that's what I'm trying to make her proud. Just like you said, you want to make your mom proud and your sister proud.
Yes.
You want to be that person that they always saw. They saw the vision in you, and you want to bring it to life for them, more than just yourself, and for your child too, though.
Exactly. When you have kids, it instantly becomes bigger than you.
Yeah,
Like, it's not about just you anymore. You've got a whole nother human being or human beings that depend on you, especially in their infant years, their early years. They can't fend for themselves. And I feel like one thing I learned about being a mother, I learned a lot, but one of the things that really sticks with me is I've really learned to be more proactive rather than reactive in life. I think about my moves, kind of like you said with when your mom, you got to think ahead
hmm
because being reactive can put you in some ugly situations, but being proactive, excuse me, can prevent you from being in some bad situations. Think about your moves because a lot of people act off emotion and that's how they end up in jail or in prison or whatever. Like, it's okay to walk away. It don't make you a sucker. It makes you
yeah,
smart.
no, for sure. There's a lot of people who'll be alive today if they had walked away.
Exactly. And right now we're in June. It's Men's Mental Health Month, and I'm a big advocate for mental health because a lot of people are going through a lot of stuff. It's okay to cry. You see, I just cried a little bit. It's okay to cry and show your emotions, even as a man.
100%.
Don't hold it in. And if you need help, go get therapy. It is okay.
Nah, we are taught as men to never cry.
Yes.
And I learned going through those because when my mom died, I was 22.
Man, that's so
So
young.
my brother was like 19, 20. So it's like, we had to learn then. But like you said, reactive. When you only live by reactive, you're always going to make decisions based on emotion
Yes.
because you're reacting to something, and because of what happened, now you feel a certain way. You're going to react up. But if you're proactive, like you're thinking about it ahead of time, you're going to make decisions based on like logic, something you thought through. Like, okay, I have to do it like this because when you just do something, and then sometimes those do be your greatest moments, and
Yes.
that's why I say like you have to be good at both because at the end of the day. When like you're at a showcase or whatever, and someone comes up and you got the opportunity to do something, don't sit there and start thinking like, well, what about this and that? Like, just do it. Just
Right.
go with the flow of the moment. So you have to master both. I think that's what's important.
Agreed.
But do not only master reactive because that's gonna get you in prison. It's gonna end up with losing everything at some point in your life.
Absolutely, because people will react off of emotion. I used to be that person. 100%.
Yeah.
I would blow up. I get road rage. Hell, I almost got in an accident coming here. Some lady literally like cut right in front of me to try to go around someone. I had to slam on my brakes. Normally, I probably would have chased her down. Today, I said, you know what? I'm gonna just let her go.
Yeah.
Let it keep moving because, like, how do I know she might be crazy?
Strapped
Pull
up.
a gun, yeah, and kill whatever. You just gotta let some stuff slide. Let it roll off. And not take a lot of stuff personal because I used to be so much of an overthinker, and I am a little bit still, but not like
What's
I
your
was.
sign?
I'm a Taurus.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say that. I'm a Taurus too.
When's your birthday?
April 27th.
So my son's birthday is April 27th. Give me some love.
What?
And my birthday is April 29th.
Oh wow.
That's why we are vibing.
That
That
makes sense.
true Taurus energy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, but now I let stuff roll off.
Yeah.
And the thing, I don't get involved in, we talked about this before too, in messy situations because I feel like that can bring so much stress to your life.
Absolutely.
Stay in neutral.
Letting stuff, especially as a Taurus, we had that bull. That bull.
Them horns be coming out,
Yeah.
boy.
It's like it's hard to keep them in a lot of times.
It
You know what I'm
is.
saying? It comes out for a moment. So I try to like, all right, just chill. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't get too mad because the thing about being a Taurus or just being a person in general, once that builds up, you have an option to stop it or make it go further. You have
Correct.
that moment. You're like, either I could turn up right now or I could chill right now. And you have to, especially the Taurus, you have to make the decision to chill right now a lot more. Sometimes you got to turn up. And that's why I love that I have it in me. I don't hate the bull.
Right.
Because sometimes I need that thing to come out.
Sometimes you need it.
Yeah, sometimes I need to do what needs to be done. I
Right.
don't want nothing to, like when that bolt comes out, you're in action mode. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I
be
feel like
making
this heat
remarks.
rush that comes through my body. You experience that?
Yeah, that heat rush hits you. It's like all of a sudden, when it's like.
And you and I are pale
transform.
ski, so we turn red.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I'm turning red, that's probably what's going on. Like
Nah,
once that
facts.
ball comes out and you turn red, it's like boom. Now it's ready to. I'm gonna do something dumb, But at the same time, maybe I needed to do it. So if someone's trying to fight me, I'm gonna handle it, But I learned to not do that unless I have to.
Exactly.
Self-defense, only.
Yeah, you got to protect yourself for sure. But yeah, you are absolutely right. Like I feel like I've graduated to that next step in my life, because before I wouldn't even think about it. I would just do it. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
And my sister too. Like my sister was a Gemini, so she had that twin, that split personality. She would go from Jekyll and Hyde, like boom.
Yeah.
I didn't have as bad as her, because she was out here busting them in the head. But yeah, I'm just like, I've now learned I think about those moves before I make them, because I'm like, I don't want to end up in a situation I can't get myself out of over something stupid that I could have just walked away from.
Right. Exactly. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. So you doing podcasts? Like,
Yes.
What do you? So speaking to the podcast stuff, there's a lot of people who are starting to do podcasts.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it you have a lot of experience. So what's your advice to someone to being a good podcaster? Like, what's some things that they should work on?
So the type of podcast that I do, I'll speak on that first. I interview a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? Like you do too, but you also have conversations.
Mhm.
Some of my podcasts turn into pure conversational. I feel like having a good personality is good. And for me, like if I am truly diving in to interview that person, like today we've had kind of more of a conversation.
Mhm.
If I'm interviewing someone, I study them.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
find out about them. Send me your EPK. Send me your bio, whatever it is. And I think having, kind of like we were saying about the artist, having a good personality. Like don't be out here doing stuff to see how many views you can get. If you go viral, cool, you go viral, but don't try to necessarily create them viral moments.
For real.
And really just start. Like I said, when I first started podcasting 14 years ago, it was strictly just audio. Maybe it wasn't even called podcasting back then. It was literally just you would hear my voice, and that's where a lot of people started. Then I transitioned into I was recording it on my cell phone. So I feel like just start, just do it. Excuse me. Don't think you got to go out and buy the best of the best of the best. And there's so many resources out there. A lot of what I learned was from YouTube. I watched videos on what equipment to buy. What mic should I have? Like I told you, I use the capture cards. What capture card? Like I watched a lot of videos. So I feel like just studying your craft, because there's not necessarily a school you can go to for it.
Right.
But you can learn, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, There's some gatekeepers out there who ain't gonna tell you, but
Yeah.
I'm the type of person, you hit me up, I'm gonna tell you, because I love sharing. Knowledge is power, right? So if you're trying to start a podcast, just do it. If you want to just do audio, there's some great platforms out there. So I obviously distribute my videos on YouTube. I also upload the audio through Podbean, and Podbean is similar to like your DistroKids and your TuneCores and stuff. It distributes my audio to all the platforms: Spotify podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, etc. So it just gives me more of an outlet,
Do they charge you like per upload?
No, so it's $15 a month for Podbean,
Mm.
and you can upload as much as you want.
You just told me something.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and it's cool because once you set up Podbean, you just have to register with each of the platforms. Once you do it one time, it's done.
Yeah.
So now when I upload my audio, it's on all the platforms, about 15 of them within 24 hours or less. Most of them are up within the first hour. Some of them take a little bit longer. But yeah, all my audios are on iHeartRadio. If you go to the iHeartRadio app and look up Industry's Most Wanted, boom, they're right there. Spotify podcast. So it's just more of an, because some people just listen to podcasts. They may be driving.
Yeah.
And they
in
can't.
most cases, I'm gonna be honest, they're at the gym, they're just listening. They're at work.
Exactly. So it's like you don't want to miss out on that audience too. So yeah, of course, YouTube is probably the number one place you want to put your videos,
Yeah,
but you want to get your audio out there as well.
for sure. And I know on like Spotify, you could put your video.
Exactly.
I think Apple too, right? You could
I'm
put,
not sure about Apple.
yeah,
I had to look into that.
definitely Spotify.
Yeah, yeah, and then but get that audio out there because, like you said, a lot of people are in positions where they can't watch, but they can listen.
I mean, I'm glad you said that because I just put it on YouTube and then Spotify. As far as the full episodes, that's it.
Yeah, because you record the audio separately, so all you got to do is if it's already an MP3 format, if not, if it's WAV, you just got to convert it to MP3 format, upload it to Podbean, and boom. Like I said, I pay it's like $14.99 a month. And that gives me unlimited uploads to my knowledge because I upload a lot and I've never had them say, oh, you can't upload no more this month. And it distributes it for you just like your music would be.
I'm gonna get into that Podbean.
Podbean. Bean, yeah, with an N. Podbean. Yep.
Okay. So let me ask you this: what do you feel? And that was some great advice too, by
Yep.
the way, for sure. And another thing I will say is like definitely the personality is a big thing.
Huge.
You got to build in your personality because people gotta and your voice. Don't have an annoying voice. You know what I'm saying? Like if you have an annoying voice, either don't do it or try to change that. I mean, but then again, maybe that'll be your thing that people like. So maybe I shouldn't say that. But just work on your personality for sure. That's
Ye-
number one.
Absolutely. You're right. Because one thing about life is there is truly an audience for everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you a question. Can I
Yeah,
ask you a
yeah,
question?
ask me a
This is a question I like asking everybody based upon what I just said. Because I feel like social media, no matter what you do, how ridiculous it is, there's an audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
One of my guilty pleasures is I like watching, I used to call it mukbang, but it's pronounced mukbang videos, like
Yeah.
the eating videos,
Mm-hmm.
because I live vicariously through that. What is like one of your guilty pleasures that you like to watch on social media that people wouldn't know?
That's a good question.
Like if you over here scrolling, you catch
Okay,
this video,
okay, I
what would
got
it be?
Okay, the only thing that I watch on social media is like who built the pyramids, really?
Mm.
Are there giants out there?
Like
Um,
Bigfoot and stuff like
is the Earth flat? Bigfoot, like all of that shit. You know,
conspiracy
yeah,
type stuff.
conspiracy. Like that's if I hand you my phone, I said look on my TikTok. That's all you're gonna see the whole time. That's all I watch. If it's not that, I don't watch it. You
That's
know, like
funny.
so that's just me. You know, and that's one of the things I like to talk to people in the podcast too. Is like bringing up conspiracy. A lot of people be like, man, I don't want to talk about that. You know what I mean? But to me, that's the most interesting thing in the world.
We grew up in Tampa. Bigfoot was a conspiracy since birth, right?
Yeah.
I was always told that Bigfoot's out there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Aliens too.
Yeah.
Me and my dad, we always reference each other as aliens. We not from this world. We different.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
think so. I think that's very possible.
I feel like it's completely selfish to feel like we're the only life form out here.
100%.
That's insane to me. And some people are gonna think it's crazy. Some
You
people
said selfish?
selfish to
Yeah.
think we are the
Yeah.
only life form out here.
Exactly. Arrogant too.
And arrogant, yeah, like
they said there's billions of planets. Like, why
Right.
would we be the
only
only
ones,
one?
right?
Like, here's the thing. Here's where people get confused. They think that if aliens are real, then God isn't real.
Right.
I don't really know where that correlation comes from, but I'm like, but nothing in the Bible ever said, or any religion from I know, any religious
Right.
text says that aliens do not exist. It's not like it was a commandment that they don't exist. So why can't they both exist?
And who's to say that they're even in alien form? They may be in human form
100%.
somewhere else too, you
Yeah.
know? And I believe, and some people may or may not agree with this, that I feel like we are all reincarnated. We were all here before in a different form as a different I could have been you in a previous life. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
I feel like we cycle through that.
That's what I believe. I believe that heaven and hell exists on earth.
Yes.
Everybody thinks like you die, you go to heaven or hell, you're judged. I feel like maybe some of that is true to a certain degree, but I feel like we create heaven and hell here. It's a perspective. If I'm always, like we talked about earlier about, if you always look for the positivity and that's all you search for, then you're living in heaven.
Right.
Heaven, there's levels of heaven. You know what I'm saying? Like being a billionaire might be one of the higher levels, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, just your perspective. You could be broke and be in heaven. That's what I'm saying. Money doesn't create happiness. I mean, it can enhance it, but it's not the only factor to happiness, you know?
Absolutely.
And I feel like hell is just the negative side of it. Like, oh, this sucks. Oh, it's not going to work out. And all that type of thought. If you're thinking like that, you're living in hell. So that would be like we reincarnate after we die.
I could not agree more. I agree with that 100% because you're right. And it's all up to us. And sometimes I understand people have mental health issues and maybe they can't make a conscious decision whether they're doing good or bad stuff. But people like that perhaps need to seek help. Again, it's okay. But I would say the majority of people, they
Yeah.
know what they're doing. They
Yeah.
know they're doing something that's wrong.
Mhm.
They know they're out here robbing and killing people and that is wrong, but they
Yeah.
do it anyway. They're
Mhm.
living on the hell side.
Yeah.
People like you and I and your wife, we're living on the heaven side because we're doing the right things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very spiritual. Do I go to church every Sunday? No. but I have my own relationship with God.
100%. I personally don't believe in religion.
I'm I grew up Christian,
Yeah.
but now and people may not like that either, but I'm with you. I'm spiritual.
Yeah, that's me too.
I pull a little bit from all religions, really.
100%. Me too.
And I feel like that's okay. And if anybody knocks that, then they're not for you. We
Yeah.
have to build our own. Yeah, my Lord and Savior is Jesus Christ, but I have my own relationship with him. I talk to him every day.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the one that got me here safe today. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I prayed before I get on the road, please get me there safe. Told you some lady almost took me out, but I avoided that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's about building our own relationship.
Yeah, I think that my opinion is that every religion is a piece of the puzzle.
Yes,
So
agreed.
because I also think it's arrogant, just like we talked about aliens being on other planets. I think it's arrogant to think that God only visited the Middle East slash Africa area. He never went to India. He never went to America. He never went anywhere. He's just like, I'm gonna just go to the Middle East and then that's it. And everybody else don't matter. I think he visited throughout, had his experiences where he visited different areas. Maybe not always in a human form. Could have been in different forms. However he did. But I feel like he made an impact all over the world, and they created religions based on those interactions.
Exactly. That to me is what makes the most sense.
Yeah.
That's what makes the most sense. And really, you just have to find what aligns with your beliefs. If this one doesn't align with your beliefs, that's fine. Doesn't mean it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just not for you.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
100%. I feel like there's many paths to God, and that's the thing. I don't feel like there's only one way. You could never even read a Bible and still be a good person and still have a relationship with God and everything, and still go to heaven. That's the only thing about Christianity that messes me up, and why I don't like the message is you have to accept Jesus Christ as your personal Savior. You go to hell. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm saying, what about the people who never heard of him? What about the people who live in the mountains of China?
Yes.
And they're like good people, and they're like praying all day, but who's Jesus?
Listen, absolutely. That's why I encourage people to build a relationship with whoever their higher power may be.
Yeah.
But I don't push it upon people. I definitely don't push religion upon people because I feel like when you have a belief that life is good, life can be really good because,
Yeah.
you talk to God every day, man, things can be great.
God will change your life.
He will
when
absolutely
you
change your
allow
life.
him to, and a lot of people won't. God will come to be like, hey, you got to stop doing that. Like, you got to stop. I'm telling you, I done showed you. Now I'm telling you, and you keep doing it. And so you're not allowing God to change your life. He's trying to change your life. That's what he's doing. He's like, bro, you keep doing it, you're gonna die. You're gonna kill somebody or something. Like, stop.
You have to be obedient.
Mm.
I just interviewed a pastor last night, and he's known, really well known in the gospel side because he's got billboard records on the gospel side. And that's something I mentioned to him. I said about being obedient to God, and he immediately said he agreed. He's like, absolutely. When God shows you those signs, whatever it is, he's gonna show you, tell you, you have to be obedient.
Right. And it's hard to read it sometimes,
Yeah.
because God might be putting pressure on a relationship, and you might think, oh, I'm gonna leave it. God's telling me to leave it. But maybe God's telling you to do better. Maybe you're not doing good enough. Maybe you need to be better a partner.
Bigga says, here's another gem for Bigga. He always says, stop pointing the finger and start pointing the thumb. Take
Yeah.
that accountability.
Mm.
Because people so quick to blame someone else for whatever it is, whether it's their stuff, take accountability, man. Because I used to be that person too. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little toxic back in the day, not taking accountability, not setting boundaries. And then I would wonder why my relationships weren't going that good.
Yeah.
When I changed my attitude, I feel like everything else in my life changed at the same time. I took that accountability.
That's step one. You're not gonna change your life until you take accountability.
100%.
Because if you're always, oh, they did it. Oh, well, because they did that, that's why I did that. It's like, yeah, but maybe why you shouldn't have did that. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? Maybe they did that, and that's them, and you did something better. Because the problem is that I feel like negativity almost always beats positivity, unfortunately. Like, if me and you are sitting here arguing, and someone comes with positive, like, hey, man, they're not going to beat this. You know what I mean?
Ever. We're going to keep
arguing.
going.
Yeah. If anything, me and you are going to argue with them now.
Yeah.
What you up here talking about, man? Now we teamed up with the negativity.
Right,
To
exactly.
defeat the positivity. So it's just, that's the way it is. So just like if me and you were talking positive, if someone comes with some negative shit, me and you're just going to stop talking about it, and they'll be like, what's going on?
Man.
Or they jumped you or whatever.
Hit the road.
Yeah. That's what you should do. And that's the whole point. If you just have to avoid that.
Yes.
You can't invite it. If they come with that and I avoid it, then they probably won't come with it next time. You know what I mean? But like, he didn't want to hear that.
That's why I said earlier about being neutral. I don't feed into those situations. And you said it as well. Because if you feed into it, it's going to keep coming back and keep coming back. If you allow that type of people to come on your platform, per se, people that always are negative, then the whole negative world's gonna say, well, let's go book with him. Let's go.
Yeah.
No, we don't want that.
Right. I want positive.
And I love this conversation because this is exactly like my vision of where I'm going. Is that spreading that? There's a lot of ugly stuff that goes on in the world, man. It's up to us, people like us who have a voice, to spread that love and positivity out to the world.
Sure. And I think the world wants it now more than ever. I don't know if the world was ready before. I think the world wants it now than ever. They need it now more than
I
ever.
agree.
Like a soul cleansing, awakening of spirituality. And I think that from my message has always been to the people, like you said, I'm not pushing religion because that is going to make people have a negative connotation. I'm not saying you have to do it one way, just change for better.
Yes.
You don't have to use God at all if you don't want to. That's your choice. I mean, I think you should, but if you don't want to, just do better. You know what I'm saying? If God can help you do that, God can help. If you allow God, He will. But if you don't, whatever, just do better. Period.
Yes, make better decisions. Like, most people, like I said, in their right mind know that they're making a bad decision. When they decide to go rob someone, you're not right for doing that. It's wrong. Turn away. Go get a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you have to damn work at McDonald's, at least you're making a good decision that's going to keep you from either getting killed or ending up in prison.
Yeah, or killing somebody.
Or killing somebody, because too many people lose their lives, like, protecting and as they should.
Mm-hmm.
If I work hard for myself and you try to come take it from me, it's like, why should I not want to protect what I worked hard for?
Right.
I probably wouldn't. If someone's trying to carjack me, I'm going to say, take it.
Yeah.
Because I can replace that car, but I
Yeah.
can't replace my life. But why should we have to even be put in them type of situations?
Yeah. Or if you got kids and they come in your house, it's like, hey, bro, I'm about to kill you. You know what I'm saying?
That is facts. 100%. I'm going to shoot and ask questions later.
Yeah.
Because you got to protect your family.
Yeah.
But the people who are doing that, you're making bad decisions. That's not right. Stop and think about that. Being proactive.
Yeah. Facts. I like that. So, oh yeah, okay. So let me ask you this: what do you feel like your purpose is in life?
That's a great question because I ask that all the time. I feel like my purpose is I'm living in it right now. I feel like my purpose is to give people an opportunity to tell their story and to pour into people and help them. Whether it be maybe they just need a little bit of advice or they need someone to listen to. I feel like God called me to be that person to just help people and put life into people. Because I've had so many people come tell me, they'll come back to me later and say, man, that piece of advice you told me, what you told me, man, it changed my life. It helped me so much. It got me through a certain time. Or look at me now, I'm leveled up. I've now got this accomplishment. So I feel like my purpose is really exactly what I'm living right now. I feel like I'm living in my purpose.
Living your purpose.
Yeah.
I love when I ask people that question and they say to help others. Because a lot of people feel like their purpose is like inner, like it's a selfish thing. It's like it's all about me, me, me. But it's like in all reality, I feel like all of our purpose is to help others.
Agreed.
It's just that the question to ask is, who are we helping? Like, how are we going to help people?
Right.
Are we going to help people, sell their story? Are we going to help people make money? Teach them how to financial literacy?
Yeah.
Like, how are we going to help people? And that's what I feel like is the question of what your purpose is. It's not about what is it you should be helping people. It's just how.
Exactly, because it kind of goes back to where people can take advantage of that too. So it's like we got to have a fine line between too much and not enough.
Very
Free
true.
is too expensive, remember?
Yeah. That's the thing. Is like by helping people, it means that you could be taken advantage of. It means there's a lot of shit that you could be dealing with that you didn't have to deal with. You're like, I'm trying to help you, and you're pulling. It's like trying to help someone swim. They're drowning, and you're not a good swimmer either. Like now you're both drowning.
Exactly, and that's a great scenario because it happens. I hear about people drowning trying to save someone else's life, and it's like, okay, I don't want to go to that extreme necessarily. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, I'm not trying to lose my life to help somebody, but yeah, I feel like that's what we're all put here for, is to help people. And I think the biggest thing for me, what I learned was just setting boundaries, because I used to never have boundaries. I would just kind of let whatever fly. Now that I've set boundaries, again, I feel so much better. I'm more focused because I know I'm not letting certain things happen, or I'm not letting certain people come in and unprotect my peace or disturb my peace. So yes, I'll help
100%.
people, but I got them boundaries too.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I do love about like what we do with our platforms. I don't have to actually help you in person. You know what I
Mm.
mean? I've done it, and I've been burnt, and I've been hurt, and
Yeah.
all that. And it's like me trying to help you, and then it just blew up my face too many times because I have that type of heart.
Yes.
So I'd rather help people from a distance now and be like, hey, I'm gonna tell you what it is. You know what I mean? You've seen it. Hopefully, it can help you. A lot of people haven't. I've had a lot of people DM me. I'm committing suicide. Or I'm contemplating suicide,
Wow.
and I watched your video. And I was like, that made me. I've spoken on that topic a lot of times. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I've contemplated suicide. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like a lot of people in life have either attempted it or thought about it, because I have too. I thought about, like, when I was going through some really dark times, and especially, raising my son, but that's what brought me back. I was like, my son needs me. That would be so selfish of
Hundred
me
percent.
to take my life, and now my son doesn't have his dad or his mom. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
That's a lot of pressure.
it's a lot of pressure. I was blessed to grow up with both parents.
Yeah.
That was such a blessing. And they were married, like they were together until my mom passed. They were married for 48 years, long time. So I feel like you're absolutely right. And again, set them boundaries, man. Like, be okay. And I'm talking relationships, I'm talking personal friendships, business. You've got to set them boundaries, because that is going to be the game changer for a lot of people.
100%. Your boundaries will protect your peace.
They will protect your peace, and really that's all we got. Like, especially going home, man, like, that's supposed to be your peace right there. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you go home, and because for me, I'm speaking for my personal past relationships, I didn't set boundaries, and I'm not blaming them, I'm blaming me for a lot of the stuff that went down. It's because I didn't put those in place, and I would fly off the handle about stuff. Well, perhaps if I had set a boundary, I wouldn't have put myself in that position to have to fly off about a situation, because they wouldn't have tried me like that.
Right. And
You know?
that's just what you learned. It's like you
Exactly.
just learn from life.
It's a learning process.
So like an L is just either a lesson or a loss.
100%. And I always like to look at them as them lessons, boy. A
Mhm.
lot of them have been learned.
For sure. So if you could say something to youth right now that could have helped you growing up, what would you say to them?
I would say, gosh, stay focused, because I was not focused a lot. Like I told you, I'm a college dropout. And I don't say it was because I was unfocused. I had other priorities,
Right.
but definitely stay focused. Keep God first in your life, have some sort of faith in your life. And, stay out of trouble. Like, again, going back, we know what's right and what's wrong. And oftentimes it don't even come from home. But if you got to reach out to, whether it's a coach or a teacher, somebody to talk to, because like you said, a lot of boys are taught not to cry.
Hmm.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to show your emotions. If someone thinks you're weak, oh well, who cares? Seek help, guidance counselor or whatever. If you need someone to talk to, find someone to talk to. So stay focused, stay grounded, work hard, because you're going to need it later in life. And be kind to people. Really treat people how you want to be treated.
Right.
That's so, so important, because people out here treating people any kind of way, and then they wonder why things are bad in their life. Like, I always will treat someone how I want to be treated, and that's with the utmost respect.
That was great advice. Everything you said, and I agree. You got to treat people how you want to be treated.
Mm.
You can't. You gotta. It's like a level of like crazy psychotic to treat people like shit all the time, but then expect them to treat you good. Like, what is up? Are you good? Like, you're screaming at me, but you expect me to be like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't work
It
like that
don't
in life.
fly like that. Something that I incorporated into my daily a while back, and it makes me feel good, is I compliment someone every day.
Mm.
Typically, I try to make it to be like a perfect stranger, because you never know what sometimes someone might have a disgruntled look on their face. You never know what could be going on in their day. I'll make it a point to say, man, I love that shirt you're wearing. Man, those shades are hard. And I'll like kind of get hype with it to kind of hype them up, because I feel like that could change someone's day. So it's like
100%.
every day, I don't care if I'm in Walmart or if I'm at the gym or walking up this sidewalk, I'm going to compliment somebody. And I do it genuinely.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel good, because 99% of the time I get a great reaction from them. I don't think I've ever had anybody, maybe every now and again you might get that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like those little things like that can go a long way. It could change someone's whole day. They could be having a shitty day, and man, you look nice today. Man, I love your hair. Little things like that, boom, could change someone's whole day for the better.
Yeah, that's very big. If everybody took a little more time out to do that, it would be a different world.
Who doesn't want to be like standing in line and some, man, them sneakers are hard. won't that put a smile on your face? Because you know you pay for them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, what? It don't take nothing from you but a couple seconds of your time.
It don't cost you no
It
money.
don't cost you
You didn't
nothing.
have to cash app some money, nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing came out your account. Like you just made their day, costed you nothing, and it's just like you get what you give. If you always give good energy, you will receive it. If you give back, it's like manifestation. If you always give out bad energy, you don't never compliment nobody, but you tell people like, man, what them shoes right there? Look, clown shoes you wearing. You know what I'm saying? It's like if that's how you talk to people every time, and then that's what you're gonna get too. Back.
100%. What we put out is what we get back in.
Mm-hmm.
It's karma. I believe in that. Like what we put out to the world. So like I believe in manifestation. I wake up and I write down my positive affirmations for the day. I speak them, but I write them down, and I also write my goals for the day. At the end of the day, I also write, how did my day go? I pour it out so I don't take it to bed with me. I journal. And that has been a game changer for me as well, because I used to carry a lot of pent up bad energy sometimes, because doing this, sometimes we get around some weirdos.
No,
you know what I'm
for real.
saying? Like
pouring bad energy into you, like, damn, what the hell am I doing here?
exactly. So it's like I had a doctor tell me that, because I told him, I said, I'm experiencing a little bit of anxiety, you know, but I don't want to be on meds or nothing. And he said, start journaling, pouring your emotions into a safe space. Man, I'll tell you, it was a game changer. Wake up every day. I speak my positive affirmations. I, pray. Thank you, God, for another day, for waking me up. Put my, goals down, so I kind of have a structure of here's how I need my day to go. And at the end of the day, did I achieve them goals? If not, I don't beat myself up. I give myself some grace. Okay, boom, I'll work on it tomorrow. It's cool.
Yeah.
And pour those, whatever them thoughts are, my end of the day thoughts, pour them into that journal, close it up, put it in a nightstand, go to bed. It's there. It's in a safe space.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I should try that too. Like I do I wake up and I pray, and then when I take a shower, I don't know why, I just say my affirmations the whole shower.
Yeah, I mean, find what works for you. I bought it's called the 3-minute positivity journal, and I love about it because it kind of guides you. You're not having to sit here and think about, well, what do I need to be writing? It literally guides you, your affirmations, your goals, your thoughts. I bought it on Amazon, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I've had to buy multiple ones because I've gotten through them. But the 3-minute positivity journal, I tell people, start doing that, because you think about a lot of music artists, music is therapy for them. You know that. That whole writing process, man, you're able to pour. What do most artists do? They pour their emotions into that song. Journaling is no different.
Good point.
Yeah.
And I definitely have released a lot of energy through music.
Yeah.
Like when you're going through hard times and you put it down. And you know what's crazy is like those be the songs that people relate to the most a lot of times. Like when I lost my mom, that was one of the first songs I ever had that people was into. It's called My Show. It was me and my brother. So and it was like talking about my mom dying.
Yeah.
And people related to that because a lot of people deal with death and things. So I feel like that is, now that I don't make music as often, I could use an outlet. That's basically what I'm saying, like that.
Yes. And it's ironic because a lot of the artists that I interview, I'll ask them, what was the most personal song you ever did? And they immediately, their wheels start turning and they're like, man, it was this particular song. And I can almost sometimes see them getting slightly emotional because it brings back that emotion in that moment of time, why they wrote that record or why they recorded that record.
You know what? And there's one thing I do want to bring up to you real quick. I think an artist like Rod Wave, he coming from St. Pete.
100%.
Right? So if you make every song about, even like Taylor Swift, if you make every song about the pain that you go through, then every time you go on tour, you got to keep revisiting that pain. Every time you go out, they got to play your songs that are about your pain.
Yes.
Every time you do anything, it's like, so it's almost like a torture.
Yeah.
Is that torturous, like to an artist? I want to ask Rod Wave that.
That's a great question, Rod. I didn't never thought about it that way, because they're literally reliving that over and over and over again.
Daily.
And maybe for some people that is their coping and how they get through it. I don't know, but for me, I kind of agree with you. I'm like, I don't know if I want to relive that over and over and over again.
Because like the creation of the record was like that journal, like you put it out, but then it's like you keep hearing.
Because I don't go back and read my journal.
Exactly. Because you imagine having to hear someone reading your journal every day. You walk out, they're like playing it.
I would be depressed. I would pull all my hair out. Or exactly. It's like I put it there and I keep it there.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Yeah. Rod Wave, you need to come through. Holla at your boy. We're going to manifest it. That's a great question.
Yeah. Is that affecting him? And he's just one example that I know he does that, but there's so many artists that do it. Polo G, a lot of these artists, no cap, they put their pain in their records, and now they got to perform it over and over and over.
Absolutely. But I think what the positive they pull from that is they see how many people they help.
Yeah.
Because there's so many. I see a lot of people when they going through stuff, Rod Wave is their go-to.
Yeah.
For an example, man, Rod Wave got me, or today's a Kevin Gates kind of day, or whatever it may be, right? It gets them through the moment. So I think maybe that's what they draw off of and what they thrive off of is that side of it. I would think.
Well, that's a good. That's what I would like to hear. That would be the right way to see it.
Yeah.
But there's days where you're like, kinda like feeling bad. You're feeling, you miss
No,
your boy.
you're in the fields.
Yeah, exactly. And then now you got to perform a song, and you're just like, damn, man. Afterwards you're like, just is it haunting you?
Right, you're reliving that moment over and over, especially if you're on tour and you got to perform it every night, or you got to do club runs and you're hearing it over and over. But I don't know, like that's a great question.
Yeah, that's something that I know you interview a lot of artists. That's something to ask, like some of the ones.
It is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, and I'll make sure I credit to you. I always like to give credit where credit's due because I get a lot of stuff I draw inspiration from other people, and I always like to make sure I give. That's a great question. I'm gonna make sure I
Yeah.
incorporate that in there.
It just kind of like I was smoking a blunt the other day, and I started thinking. I don't know why.
That's
like,
when you be thinking the most.
Yeah, and I was like, damn, I wonder how these artists feel about this. Like, especially Rod Waves. I was listening to a bunch of Rod Wave songs. I'm
Right.
like, I was about to do a podcast. And we were playing Rod Wave. I'm like, I wonder.
Exactly.
So so what do you have coming up next? Not just with the music, but just in general. Like, what do you have coming up next?
So in July, I'll be at the Fleet DJ Music Conference. I want to say it's their 20-something year. Don't get me to lying. I've been multiple times. I'll be out there doing media coverage for them. I don't know if I want to do showcases anymore. Like I did them every year up until last year. I haven't planned one this year. So yeah, definitely catch me at the Fleet DJ Music Conference, doing interviews. As far as like what I do personally, I'm on my major fitness journey, and I like to share that with people because I seen something online that someone said you can have all the problems in the world till you have a health problem. Now you only got one problem. So I'm really big on my fitness and, because I'm 51 years old. Like I'm very transparent. Like I'm everybody's OG. At this point in my life is when a lot of stuff can start happening.
Yeah.
So, people can catch me, hold me accountable. If you don't see me working out or whatever, call me on it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm really big on sharing that side of myself because I feel like it holds me accountable. Other than that, I don't really have any like events or anything coming up that I can really talk about other than the Fleet DJ Music Conference. I hope that everybody pulls up for that. It's a great networking opportunity for artists to meet DJs. They got producer panels. I'll be there with my videographer doing stuff like this. We'll be sitting down doing interviews with people. So yeah, and then of course, if you guys want to book with me, I have the podcast where you guys can do the mic drop performances. I do the interviews. Radio station, I do interviews there as well, and tap in.
For sure. Well, I just want to tell you, keep doing what you're doing. I definitely love the message. We definitely aligned in our messages.
100%.
There's not a lot of people who are doing stuff like this, trying to really help the world through our platforms. A lot of people tearing down the world through their platforms. They're tearing down the morale. So I definitely, feel a lot of genuine energy from you. I feel like if we met before, it was briefly, but maybe at an event. But like this
could have been in a past life.
Yeah, could have been in a past life. So it's like, just keep that genuine energy going. I feel like keep basing your life on that. A lot of people base their life on everything but what's genuinely within them. But yeah, I definitely love the conversation.
Me too. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation, man. I appreciate you again. Thank you so much to you and your beautiful wife for the invite out here. Like, this is what it's all about right here. It's spreading that love, that positivity, that good energy. So I highly recommend anybody come sit down with him, but bring that good energy.
Yes,
I love your platform. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing because your vision aligns perfectly with mine. This was a great conversation.
Yeah, we probably could do something else,
Absolutely.
Whatever it is you got in mind,
Definitely. Yeah, let's make it happen. Like you said, you started that spin-off podcast. The other one, you said Drop
the Jewels.
Drop the Jewels, exactly. So, maybe once a month we might be able to get together and do something. That would be super dope.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back out here with Team 28, my co-host. So when I do, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
And we can do.
I would love to pull up. Let's do something. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe you guys could even come through my podcast studio because I got the whole setup there. Or we could do. I don't care. Well, let's make something happen.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I would like to get Bigga too on Drop the Jewels. I think that they would.
Oh
they'd
gosh.
be going off.
Make sure you plan about a 5-hour slot because Bigga got them jewels.
Yeah.
He's one of the most knowledgeable people about this music industry because he's been doing it for over 30 years. And if you don't know who Bigga Rankin is, you better go see about him because he's responsible for so many people's careers, putting them in a position to win. And so glad Lucy's home too.
Yeah, it's very true. I watched it because coming from Florida, he was in Jacksonville, but his name came up every day.
Listen, like I think every artist that came from Florida during a certain era, Bigga touched their career, whether he hosted their mixtape or did a single release or something for them. Bigga was a part of their career.
100%. So shout out to him.
Shout out to the OG Bigga Rankin. Shout out to Kingpin too, of course. You know, he's one of the first people that really reached out to me and loved on me. And y'all know him as Rap Juggernaut. I know him as Kingpin. So shout out to him as well. And shout out to you, man. Thank you. Thank you, your beautiful wife. I appreciate you allowing me to come on your platform today.
For sure. I appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
So before we get out of here, go and tell them where they can find you at, where they can follow you at.
Absolutely. So Tampa Mystic is everywhere. That's all my socials. At Tampa Mystic, I have the website. But then for my other businesses, of course, I got Industries Most Wanted. Website, industriesmostwanted.com, Instagram, the Hype 87.3 is my internet-based radio station. Mystics Entertainment is my actual company. That's the umbrella over everything. But mainly Tampa Mystic is where you guys can find me. I religiously check my DMs all the time because I'm not trying to miss no opportunities, you know, no business or whatever. So, yeah, Tampa Mystic.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I reached out to you, I believe I was in your request. You responded within like 30 minutes.
Exactly. Like my email and my DMs I check all the time because I get a lot of people that reach out to me through email too. And I'm like, I don't want to miss any opportunities. I don't want anybody to feel like I'm blowing them off.
Yeah. And that's what I meant about that genuineness. You know, a lot of people in this industry, that's what they're missing. Just to be honest with you. I mean, I ain't gonna say everybody. I'm not dissing them. I'm just saying a lot of people aren't all the way genuine when they do things.
Listen, I agree. And this was meant to be. The stars aligned on this situation.
100%. But all right, we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace. That was super dope, man. I love that. Thank you.
It's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. Yeah, it's time to let it flow. It's time to let it flow.